Look, your browser is currently screaming your identity to every single server you touch. And no, your private mode isn't doing a damn thing to stop it. You probably think that little icon of a man in a hat or that dark-themed window means you're invisible, right? Honestly, it's a brilliant bit of marketing. Quite literally one of the most successful psychological safety blankets ever sold to the public. But technically, it is a total lie. All incognito mode does is stop your browser from saving your history locally on your own machine. It does absolutely nothing to stop the websites you visit from knowing exactly who you are. I want you to imagine you're walking through a shopping mall, but instead of just looking at your face, the security cameras are measuring the exact length of your stride, the frequency of your heartbeat, and the specific wear patterns on your shoes. That is browser fingerprinting. Serious. Whilst you're scrolling, the server on the other end is asking your computer thousands of tiny, seemingly innocent questions. It asks for your screen resolution, your installed fonts, your time zone, and even your current battery level. Now, none of these data points are particularly scary on their own, are they? But when you combine them, they create a GUI, a global unique identifier. This is your digital shadow. The odds of another person having the exact same combination of hardware configurations, software versions, and system settings as you, well, they're millions to one. This isn't a tracking cookie that you can just delete when you feel like it. Direct. You cannot clear your cache to get rid of this. No nonsense. It is a permanent record that persists, because it is based on the physical and logical reality of your device. Look, this is the grim reality we have to accept before we can even try to fix it. The modern web was not designed to be a library or a social square. It was fundamentally engineered to be a surveillance engine. Every site you load is a sensor, and you are the product being harvested in real time. You aren't just visiting a website. You are being indexed, filed, and sold before the page even finishes loading. And this is where the silicon smoke and mirrors begin. Look, you've all seen the adverts, right? Apple tells you privacy is a human right, whilst Google claims to be the guardian of your digital life. It is, quite frankly, a brilliant piece of theater. They've spent billions of dollars just to convince you that flicking a few toggles in a settings menu actually changes the fundamental nature of the machine in your pocket. It doesn't. Those settings, they're like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. The hole is already breached because the telemetry is baked into the very architecture of the chips. Then, we have the VPN trap. I see this everywhere, mate. You've been sold this idea that a $5 a month subscription is some kind of magic invisibility cloak. It's not. It's a redirection of trust. You're essentially saying you trust a random, often unaudited server farm more than your own ISP. You haven't hidden your data. You've just moved the destination of the pipe. In the world of cybersecurity, I call this a single point of failure. If that VPN provider is compromised, or if they're secretly logging your traffic despite their pinky promise of a no-logs policy, you're completely exposed. If you want to actually disappear, you have to stop asking for permission from the giants. You have to adopt what I call the privacy stack. Now, this is the part where most people get uncomfortable, because it requires leaving the walled garden. It means moving from the polished, convenient cage of iOS to the hardened sandbox of Graphene OS. It's about taking a device and stripping out every single piece of proprietary tracking code until the hardware is finally working for you, not against you. It is a daunting shift, I know, but it is the only way to stop the constant heartbeat of data leaving your device every few seconds. And then there's the money. Every time you tap your phone or swipe a card, you are broadcasting your location, your habits, and your associations to a dozen different financial entities. Honestly, your bank knows more about you than your therapist does. To break that chain, you need Monero. See, unlike Bitcoin, which is a public ledger where every transaction is visible to anyone with an internet connection, Monero is an obfuscated, non-custodial ghost. It is the only way to ensure that your financial life remains your own, in a world that wants to track every single cent you spend. We've been conditioned to believe that privacy is just a setting we can turn on. But, as I'm about to show you, the real secrets aren't in the software menus. They're hidden in the physical hardware itself. There's one specific component inside your phone right now that is doing things you were never told about. One detail that everyone missed. Look, I want to be crystal clear with you. Choosing this path, it's not exactly a walk in the park. I mean, it's a grueling daily friction that most people, well, they simply cannot stomach. When you move away from the sleek, data-hungry ecosystems of Apple or Google, and you step into something like Cube's OS, the world just stops working for you. Think of Cubes as a digital bunker, right? Every single application runs in its own isolated virtual machine. Opening a simple PDF, that becomes a full-blown security protocol. Now, it's brilliant for security, sure, but it's bloody daunting for your workflow. You aren't just using a computer anymore. You're managing a fortress. Then, there's the network. When you route your entire digital existence through Tor, you're essentially telling the internet that you don't exist. But here's the thing. The modern web hates ghosts. You'll find yourself trapped in what I call CAPTCHA hell. You'll spend 5 minutes identifying traffic lights and storefronts just to prove to a bot that you are the human. Why? Because the algorithm has flagged your anonymity as suspicious behavior. This is the birth of a silent, digital social credit system. See, in our modern economy, data is the currency. When you refuse to pay with your privacy, the system treats you as a threat. You're locked out of services, your connection is throttled, and you're constantly treated as a second-class digital citizen. The hidden cost of freedom isn't money. It's the total loss of convenience. We've been conditioned to believe that everything should be one click away. But real privacy? Privacy requires 1,000 clicks. You're essentially choosing to be a glitch in a system that demands perfection. It's a technical friction that happens when you refuse to play the data harvesting game.
But even if you manage to survive this friction, even if you solve every puzzle and endure the slow speeds, there is a much darker reality waiting for you. Because while you're busy hiding your IP address and encrypting your files, the very infrastructure of the web itself is being redesigned right now to make your tools obsolete. There is one emerging technology being deployed as we speak that aims to make your anonymity quite literally impossible to maintain. And mate, it's coming from a place you would least expect. So, this brings us to the ultimate question. Is it actually worth it? I mean, is total privacy worth the technical and social isolation? Look, let's be honest whilst we're here. Carrying a graphene OS device feels like carrying a piece of alien technology. You lose the seamless integration of Google Maps. You lose the easy convenience of Apple Pay. You are essentially opting out of the modern digital womb. Most people will call you paranoid, right? They'll say you have something to hide. But I'd argue that in an era of total algorithmic control, where your data is used to predict your behavior before you even realize you have a desire, well, these tools aren't just for dark web dwellers. They are the last line of defense for individual sovereignty. Think about the stack one last time. Graphene to secure the hardware. Monero to decouple your labor from your identity. And Tor routing to make your presence on the network invisible. This is your digital perimeter. It is the only way to stop being a user. Because look, let's be clear about what that word actually means. In the tech world, you're either the developer or the user. And the user is just a data
point in a corporate ledger, a commodity to be traded whilst you sleep. You have a choice to make. You can stay in the light where it's warm and convenient, but where every move you make is logged, indexed, and sold to the highest bidder. You can become a ghost in the machine. It's a lonely path, sure, but it's a free one. I have to leave you with one chilling reminder. Once your data is out there, once that digital fingerprint is etched into the servers of Silicon Valley, you can never pull it back. There is no delete button for the internet's memory. It is permanent, and it is bloody massive. I have made my choice. I have stepped into the shadows. Now, what is yours? If you are ready to stop being a product and start being a person, then join the decentralized movement. Secure your digital perimeter. Because once the machine knows everything about you, it owns everything about you. Stay safe. Stay invisible.